Just sitting back in here, getting ready for the chat, seeing if anybody will join here on Sunday night. We generally don't do things on the Sunday, but why not, right? Why not? Let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. Still nobody for a whole 30 seconds, so I'm wondering if there's like a lag in the whole system. Generally somebody joins, and then by the time somebody joins, I know it's actually officially online. And so we'll see. Let's refresh. Let's see if it actually picks up. Has anybody seen the live? Everybody seen the live? Okay. I mean, clearly there's people in here. I'm just looking. I'm looking for my own live that I can join. What? Join and I can see it on my other channel. I got a sister channel, by the way, if you guys haven't checked it out. It's called DIY Culture. And that is how I'm like able to like look at comments and scroll without looking at my phone, all stupid like. You see me touching my phone, my face is all super close and awkward, like awkwardly close to all of you. Did you guys know John Jones got arrested? What a crap show. Sometimes social media just deflates me. Dang. Anyways, that was not the topic. Yep, can't find it. I don't know, but you guys are on, so I don't really know what's going on with my parent channel here, but how are you guys doing? What's going on, Derek? And what's going on from Brazil? Oh, John Jones is he's like the GOAT of the UFC. 15 title defenses, just beats the tar out of people. And then he's kind of got into it with Dana White, and then now he keeps getting in trouble with the law. Like there's like a thing. There's like a running joke. I don't know about all the fighters, but as somebody who's maybe had a few fights here and there, all fighters deep down are savages. So no matter what they portray to you, to the media, like their PR relationships, like, but John Jones is a true savage because of that he gets himself in a lot of trouble in and outside of the ring. And like, but he also has 15 title defenses. Nobody else has that. But he's also gotten arrested for. He's like a terrible PR person for the UFC. UFC probably, Dana White hates him, but I love him specifically. Oh, here it is. Now I can like look at people's comments. All right. Also not great with the lights. Still blown out. Nope. Dude. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys about just have an open discussion. If you guys had any questions, I just dropped a video on the JonYak, the little 1232 tracker topper that I have retrofitted to kind of be a direct crossover from like larger kayaks to tiny boats. So I would say that tiny boats, we've effectively like bridged the gap between a regular John boat to bass boat conversion and a bass boat, like, or just a regular John boat and a bass boat, or a small little tinny and a bass boat. We really have bridged that gap to where you can have the best of both worlds in specific sections where, you know, it's useful to you to have one. But we really haven't found an effective crossover from, like, say, a John boat to a kayak. So, and we think that as tiny boaters, we can possibly bridge that gap, because what you see from the kayaks, the larger kayaks, we're not talking about all kayaks. There's like a spectrum, right? There's levels to yaks. There's a most basic minimalistic one that floats in like 1 inch of water. We're not gonna be able to beat that. We're also not going to be able to beat the speed of kayaks. There's just no way. They go fast. Although, I will say the bigger they are and the longer they are, you do see the agility and the speed go away. And that is a big deal. So, in that spectrum where you see yaks, you see them evolve more and more and more to plastic boats, to plastic versions of boats. And because I keep seeing that trend, it means that they've peaked, that they're trying to make an effective crossover, although I don't think any of them have done it yet. So we actually, it's funny. I talked to a group of my friends down here. They own a yak shop down in Southwest Kayaks here in Lake Havasu. Pretty good guys, and Ben works there. You know, Ben's a tiny boater down here. The only local one that I'm here with in Havasu, that where I built him out of Lumacraft. And they showed me something called the Johnny boat, which is a plastic. It's another attempt at the yak industry to kind of like cross over, and it has a transom that you can put a 5-horse on. I didn't think much of it when I saw it, but they think it's awesome. I guess it's all about a state of mind. But let me see what some of your questions got going on here. And hello to everybody who I missed, like Josh Ursui, Small Boat Outdoors, Chris Roberts. He's a TV Nation OG. We'll be seeing his boat here in Tennessee. By the way, it's Lake Chickamauga. I'm sorry, not Lake Chattanooga. So I haven't even got my stuff together. Lake Chickamauga in Tennessee. Somebody said it's in Dayton, Tennessee. I personally don't exactly know where it is. We're going to find out where it is on MapQuest, but it's Lake Chickamauga, the PB Lodge. Friday, October 8th, we are going to have a live meet and greet, and it's not just going to be me. It's going to be Ryan, Adam, Nate, all of us are there. The entire Tin Can crew will be there, and there will be food and drinks and boats and maybe some fishing. I don't really know. We're going to go down there and make a plan. We're going to see how it's going to go down. But you guys should be there. If you guys are local to Tennessee, or you're just a few states away, a few hours away, you should drive down there and meet us, possibly get some free stuff. We're going to be bringing stuff to give away. Well, let's get to some questions here. All right. Eric Scanes, did you get the lithium batteries yet? No. I did. I had it for like 5 minutes, and I had to return it. And so I talked about that in the video I dropped tonight, about where I actually have it on the water. I skipped a few videos because I really wanted to show you guys it on the water. So what's going to be different about this series is it's our boat, right? So we can do as many video testing stuff that we'd have to do. Generally, it's a real stress to do somebody else's boat. No disrespect to the person, but it's just very stressful. We have to go by their timeline. We have to do what they say. We have to kind of hold back on stuff that we do because it's not our boat, and there's always that liability deal. And then when we debut it, it's generally the only time I get to debut it with them, and then it's gone. So this time I put it on the water, and we still have the boat. So we're going to be running it through a battery of tests. So there's not going to be one end reveal where we put it out there, record it, and then we let the parts fall where they may. So we'll have that going for us. That being said, the lithium battery is not with us. So we might be able to get it back when we go to Tennessee. We might be able to get a part of it back. But the 1224 split, the perfect battery that I needed for me, is not going to be with us. It really does screw up and I talk about that in the other video about how that overweighted the back. I'm gonna say really quickly, weight is everything in a tiny boat, and that is very true. I mean the true tiny boat spectrum really is a 12 to 16 foot boat, in my opinion. In other people's opinion, it's a 10-foot John boat. I think 10 foot is too small. There's not enough water displacement, and you run into a lot of issues with a 10-foot John boat that you run into a small kayak with just weight displacement issues. And then anything over 16 foot, there are 17 foot. The cap for the Slay Nation Outdoors, the Slay Nation XL tourneys, which specifically for tiny boats, they cap it at 1770. They say that's the cap for a tiny boat. So it's just a state of mind. But the typical that we see is 12 to 16 foot, with 14 and 16 foot being the major norm. Weight is everything in that boat spectrum. It matters less with a 16 foot than does in a 12 foot boat, but I'm saying 50 pounds can make or break whether or not you get on plane in a 16 footer. I swear 10 or 20 pounds can make or break whether or not you're a 12 footer. The margin for error is super, super slim. This actually was the hardest boat to build because of the slim margin, and I knew it. I did not plan to run AGM batteries, let alone 2 of them in there. I did not plan to run a 24 volt system. For one, it's kind of overkill. I was going to run a 12 volt system. I wanted to run a 12 volt Minn Kota power drive because we found a company that can turn a power drive from 12 volt all the way to 24, and pretty much into an iPilot Link system, their own version of an iPilot Link, which actually has a lot of cool stuff that the Minn Kota iPilot systems don't have, even their Link systems, which are really nice. And we were able to work with them and integrate that. And because the battery I had was 24 volt, I asked them to you know, for a 24-volt trolling motor. And then that battery took a crap. So really, I would have been okay with it just a 12-volt. So you can't find a 12-volt spot lock unless you convert a 12-volt trolling motor into a 12-volt spot lock. So for a boat that small, we're talking about stability, you really only need probably a 45 would pull you pretty good decency and probably keep you pinned in the wind, unless we're talking about hellacious winds. In which case, a 55-pound 12-volt trolling motor would definitely keep a boat like that pinned in the wind. I can't see a 55-pound might be even a little overpowered. So we have a 70-pound on there that's way overpowered. We got to be really careful we don't fling ourselves off the boat with that thing. The system for the ProNav Marine is on our website. It does have gain settings. So I mean, 3 of them. It's gain for like bigger boats, and then obviously it has a gain setting for smaller boats, 14 at or greater than 14 foot, at or less than 14 foot, and then it has a gain setting for kayaks. We'll probably be keeping the gain setting for kayaks so it doesn't flip us off. So I mean, flip me off. I can easily see myself getting flipped off that boat. So, and also a major thing about that one is the boat is it's like a legacy 12-footer, meaning they don't make those anymore. You see all the new John boats that come out by Tracker, they're Tracker Topper 12W, that's for wide, means at 36 inches at the bottom, which I would think makes a pretty big difference than 32. So you really do see a profound difference. In a gap of 12 feet to 16 feet, you see a profound difference. So you're talking about like 4 feet, right? 4 feet, and then 32 inches to 48 inches, which is, you know, 16-inch difference? I'm bad at math, but it's not that much, right? Right? So, you know, like an extra 1.5 feet on the bottom width and an extra 4 feet there's substantial differences in stability. Even from 12 to 14, even a 2-foot drop. A 1232 compared to a 1436, the stability factor is dramatic. I think at 1436, you actually get a pretty truly stable boat where you can fish 2 people on, and it's not a real big issue. At a 1442 or a 1542 platform, you really get very much stability. In a 1448 to 1648 platform, that's true stability, where you really feel very, very much grounded. You don't need any additional mods. I forgot where I was going with that. Let me just read these. So before I get my track on. Wait, Josh, how's it going? Is that going to be my primary solo boat? It is, because I'm going to rebuild my boat. My boat's a Frankenstein boat, my 16-footer. Everything that I built for somebody else that I thought was cool, I integrated into my boat. You know, my boat still has like a wooden core. Still has a wooden redwood core. Like, things have got to change in it. So we will be probably redoing the whole thing, making it more of a universal ski and fish boat. We have not done one of those. We've done X amount of bass boats, and so we'll see. How much of a wave can it take, Chris? Can I go out on Havasu on the weekend? Well, it's not going to sink, if that's your question. I made it pretty hard to sink. Can't say something's technically sink-proof, but that boat, I don't think it'll end up at the bottom of the lake anytime soon. It'd be pretty hard to sink that boat. With 3 bilge pumps, it's got over 2,400 GPH. I mean, that's a lot. You'd have to have a serious set of waves to take over the boat. And even then, we have foam pods in there that take over a significant portion of the boat. Not to include all the foam in the bottom. It'd be really hard. Even if that boat was saturated with water, it probably would screw the boat up, but it wouldn't sink. So that is whatever it is. As far as going to Havasu on the weekend, probably if I found boat collars. If I could talk to that Australian company and get them to send me or tell me how they made them. Really, they have those adhesive foam strips that just stick to the side of the boat. That's what I need. If I could just get that here in the U.S., I mean, we'd be talking pretty significant stuff. Cod fishing, tell me, good day from Australia. My man, talk to those guys at Boat Collars in Australia and have them hook me up. I'll pay their shipping. I'll pay whatever. But they won't even answer me. I'm like, hey, I don't know who deals with customer service there. It's all good. Also, let me see. Hey, Florida, James, Florida's not off the table. Florida is a huge demographic that watches our following. We just don't have anybody. I think Florida's too big, like Cali. Well, Cali actually does have a pretty significant following there, where they actually have substantial grounding. Texas has tried. I think stuff that has happened in Texas fell through. In Florida, we've absolutely had nobody step up and just run the whole thing. It's too hard. So, um, we'll see. All right. Let me read through here. Almost every farm pond in Kentucky has an old John next to it. Not a lot in good rebuild condition though. Yeah, before they kind of get thrown around, they kind of get mistreated for sure. That's a thing. Well, let me see here. I'm thinking that James, I can order. So cod fishing, you want one built? Oh man, we are actually starting to build them. By the way, a lot of big announcements happen at Lake Chickamauga when we are going there. There's gonna be a lot of big things happening. By the way, guys, if you're in the chat right now, please hit the like button. Likes are free, and they will help the actual chat trend to more people, meaning that it is a more favorable and likable chat and topic. But if you're not really liking this or digging it, then I guess don't hit the like button. But it would help. It would help the chat trend. Likes help us. So, all right. So Lex, you're building a 16-foot line next spring, and I was wondering if we had any ideas for us. We have all kinds of ideas for you. Check our channel. Click on the name, and we have playlists. We have videos for days. We have over 300 videos to the public, all of ideas about nothing but what we're doing here. So plenty of ideas. All right. Did I switch to a flat bottom and not keep the V? I would have preferred the V Pitco, but it just wasn't like in the. Well, I mean, you can't find a Mod V 12-foot John boat. I wish. A 12-foot Mod V John boat would be pretty sweet, but it'd have to honestly be like maybe a 13.5-foot Mod V John boat. Look at that. A skinny. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to people. We're trying to develop hulls, and I would like to develop our own custom 12-foot aluminum hull with like, you know, pre-stamped boat collar, like out, like where it's skinny. I mean, there's a million things we could do if we could just develop our own hull, but I mean, there's a pretty significant cap when you're using somebody else's hull. That's just a tracker topper, the OG, the 1232. What would be a good electric motor? Elka makes some electric motors. I think E-Propulsion is actually taking the reign on all of it. Where E-Propulsion's little Spirit 1.0 motor is very, very hard to beat. For the money and for the size and portability, it only weighs 46 pounds. I mean, lasts just as long, if not longer, than an equivalent size motor with a fuselage tank. And you can just throw it in the back of your truck, and you don't have to worry about gas or oil leaking out. You don't have to worry about stall issues, the carb getting gummed up. So I'd say the Spirit 1.0 from E-Propulsion is probably the best one. And then it also gets up more complicated. But the bigger the motor you get, that's where it starts to go down to is you start to have to get battery packs that are very expensive, way more expensive than the motor itself. And so it's all about the batteries. It's not really the motor, even though the motors on hand are generally twice the cost of what the equivalent gas outboard is. Okay, SoFlo Prepper. What is the best tiny tinny for your dad and two little ones and a 1648 for two grown adults and kids? I mean, minimum. Actually, a 1660, but those are super hard to find. But 1660 feels great on the water. Eric Gaines, tiller extension handles help with weight distribution. You can sit farther forward. Noted. Thank you for the tip. And we can do that easily with PVC. So we'll be looking into that. MVB Outdoors, how's it going, man? Recently picked up a 1430, and I was coming up with every idea I could think of to get stability, but it was better to resell. Smart. A 1430 is, dude, that's skinny. I think you made the right choice. I bet you that extra 6 inches on the bottom makes the biggest difference, doesn't it? I tell you, every inch you gain on the bottom, right? Even if I had a 1233, that 1 inch, I swear, does so much. It's the width. I mean, it's all about displacement. Obviously, the hull variants, how kayaks kind of make their stuff a little bit more stable is they have kind of like a tri-hull design where the very, very ends are kind of bloated. That means when you press pressure on one side, more of it's in the water. And that actually does help too. It's really hard to stamp an aluminum hull like that. That's why, I mean, they're either rotomolded plastic or they're fiberglass. But if we were making a fiberglass 12-foot boat, I can do all kinds of things to make that thing, I might actually go that way. The more and more I'm looking at it, the more and more we're pushing towards glass. Got a lot more people asking about glass. I think glass is better to do at a DIY level for a lot of reasons. You don't need very complex tools. You just need to understand how fiberglass and resin works around wood and glue. It gets somewhere. We'll talk about that. Currently rebuilding a 15-foot bass boat. You have found the playlist. Oh, cool. Thanks, James. TV Nation, Ohio, West Virginia. There is a TV Nation, Ohio, I think. I don't know. We have a map on our site, tvnation.net, and you can actually click on TV Nation chapters, and we have a site map. So whatever state's there, if you click on it, that actually links you right there to the Facebook page. But a lot of those Facebook pages come and die with mods who care and then don't care. So, we haven't updated in a long time. Mod V Johns are common in Australia. A V-nose punt. Sweet. You got a 12-foot V-nose John down there? That's what I need. That's okay. What's happening to the side console I have in my lot? Timing. Spencer, I really want to do a budget build and give it away to the audience as a thank you to getting me here. I told everybody if I could get to 100K and stabilize and become full-time that I would give away a boat. And so I got to make good on that promise before I do any more me projects. But that is coming right after. Right after. And we're also waiting for a few other things to happen. But it's getting cooler. It's getting better. The time where it's best to build is also the time where it's best to fish. So I don't really know what to do. But I mean, I went on a 4-month hiatus for fishing. So I need to get my due in. I need to get my binge out. I'll tell you what. I went fishing the other day on the JonYak. I was up for like 28 hours to get that thing done. I couldn't sleep because I was so excited to get it done. And then I went out at gray light and fished on it, kind of, when you're like really tired, you feel kind of high. And I was just out there kind of like trying to just catch anything. And, I got a good few fish. So if you want to see how the JonYak is in stability when you actually catch a fish and you have to walk all up and down the deck, that's good for there. The video I dropped tonight is pretty substantial. I tried to give you a pretty in-depth, I didn't talk too much in it, but I just wanted to show you what it's actually like fishing. So what I can reasonably tell you is the one major advantage we have that we definitely capitalize on is a fully functional deck. Something that we're not going to get out of any of the current plastic boats. Clearly not out of the kayaks where, you have a little short space. What is that? 3 foot by 3 foot, where you can really kind of just step and stand up, but either step and you stand up or you sit back down. I did see somebody make a polling platform for their kayak, and I thought that was pretty ballsy. And they made like a front deck platform, which is also, I thought, pretty odd. But those are aftermarket mods that no major kayak industry person has ever taken on. But I saw that on YouTube. I thought it was pretty well done. He made it out of birch plywood. It's pretty dope. But even then you see him almost falling off and wobbling around. So I don't know. You have to have some good balance. I thought that other than that, other than the fact that my boat rolled a little too much. I thought it was good. You could walk up and down from front to back. It wasn't very taxing. If you step on the side, you obviously had to be cautious that it was going to roll. I never thought that the boat would flip over or capsize, but definitely it rolled. For sure. It rolled a lot. It was just... It for sure rolled. But it wasn't... I expected that. I knew that it would do that. that being said, it was still very fishable. I was also on the calmest water ever. The water was glass. Generally, is not like that. There was a few waves from the oncoming boats, but it was nothing like I didn't feel like I was going to get ejected. You do have to be very conscious. I think what did save me a few times from going over was the butt seat. Although I think the butt seat was not great where it is. It needed to be back another foot. And so where I thought it would be good, it's still okay there, but it wasn't great. So sorry. So I wish the butt seat was back a foot. I think the more stable part in the boat was back a foot. I think the batteries, if I could reposition the batteries, it would be more center 50. The batteries really need to be more in the center of the boat. I should have just done that and made the storage in the back where I sat a storage compartment. If I could reconfigure the boat, that's what I would have done. I mean, that's what I would have done. I thought that if I did that when I did go to step on the deck, that it would be too front heavy. So I didn't want to do that, but I think that would have been the better way to go. I think, but I also wasn't planning on putting 100 plus batteries. I mean, 130, 140 pounds of batteries in there. I was not real happy about that. That was also... Okay, so let's get back to some of the questions here. Pro-grade painting. Just bought an old aluminum hull, 1964 Crestliner. Which one of your deck kits? A 19... How big is it? The 1964 Crestliner, I mean, all boats 14 foot and below. I mean, for 14... I like our Gen X kits for boats that are 14 and 16 feet. That you're not going to run too big of a horsepower on it, like 25, 30 horse. The boat's not going to go much over 30 miles an hour. Like between 20 and 30 miles an hour is like the norm for the boat. I think the Gen X kits do fantastic. But if you got a bigger boat that's like, 1648 with a bigger motor, like pushing a 50 horse on it or whatnot, then I think, Nate's dry hatches, they're thicker aluminum, they're more robust, and the system itself will hold over time better than the Gen X. Hitting at high speeds and shuddering against the waves. So I guess it's all about how fast your boat is going, and how strong the hull is. But Gen X is pretty good up and down. But anything over 16 foot, we wouldn't recommend the Gen X kits. Anything under, for smaller craft, 1232, 1236, 1436, John boats, we do recommend the JonYak kits. We have Adam Ryan is actually installing a JonYak kit inside the 1436. And it's more of a refined version versus the prototype that I put out on this boat, which is a complete prototype. Most things on this channel are, and it really runs fantastic. It really does well. That Wi-Fi is really... Just give me 1 second. Okay, let me know if this looks better. I gotta find out if this looks... Does this look a little bit better? Let me know if it starts clearing up, because what I see on the screen looks terrible. The house Wi-Fi, I keep forgetting that. And like when I want good Wi-Fi to stream, I have to turn the house Wi-Fi in my office off. I lost a bunch of people when I did that. Sorry. Hey guys, can you help me get the likes up if you're new? That way we can get more people back, because it looked like people glitched out for a second. I did that because I turned off the stupid Wi-Fi icon. I just got to remember to do that so the screen doesn't look absolutely terrible. All right. So rebuilding 15-foot bass boat. Okay. Where are we at? Derek King. What about weld-built boats? Weld-built boats? I mean, welded boats are nice too. I mean, honestly, if you have the skill to weld and you can weld your boat together, I mean, that's great. I mean, then you can go all the way up to 0.90 or 1/8 inch angle, or we sell these tracks in 0.90. A lot of people will actually weld the dry tracks in their boat, and that works. I mean, that's going to be much more longevity wise for a bigger boat. That's going to last a lot better than versus rivets, where you might have to replace rivets after they stretch, if they stretch. Okay, let me see. John R, will you ever try to make your own version of a boat collar? I was researching those on YouTube before we went live. And I would love to make my own version. Actually, what they were doing is they were making these collars and they were bolting them to the inside of the hull. But we're way past that process with this boat to where we can even think about doing that. The boat is fabricated, and crucial spots where it would need to be bolted to, we cannot do it. I mean, we have substantial parts of the rod locker open. I guess we could bolt it inside the rod locker to the hull, but it looked like they were running through bolts inside bushings that were sealed against the hull, and then the boat collars were obviously slid over the bushings with washers keeping them pinned to the boat. Not a bad idea. Got to research a little bit more about how they did it. But in the ones in Australia, the boat collars there look way better. They look like just big, giant molded pieces of foam with adhesive on the back. And that's what I would like. So I don't know how to make those. I would love to find somebody in the US who would even get on the idea to make those. If they did start making them, I would promote them to death. Like, they're exactly what I need. I think if I had boat collars on the John boat, it would be substantially more stable, and we wouldn't have had the overweight. I mean, it probably would take those overweighted batteries. We would actually see a jump up in the actual what the hull can actually take. We do have a 12-foot conversion kit, John Gonzalez. Yes, we do. We do have it. We have it's called the JonYak kit. It's on tvnation.net, and that's the kit that I threw into the 12-foot boat. All right. Billy Knowles, what's going on, man? I'm in Tennessee. I need a 1860 tunnel hull. That's a pretty serious boat. Bow with Mega 360. Yeah, man, you got to hit us up on Facebook. All right, we have a Facebook office suite. Hit us up there, or you can contact our site, and we actually have a team that'll work with you. But we have people with questions like yours all the time for like that have pretty high demands and specific needs for a boat, and we do work with those people and get it done. So check us out there, Billy. If you're still online and you see that, we'll definitely help you out there. You know, Derek, the other option besides boat collars is outriggers, and I have thought rigorously on how to make outriggers for the John boat. I thought about making ones that can attach in certain sections that flip up when you're on plane, so they don't actually cause problems while you're trying to go through the water at high speeds. I've thought about all kinds of different ways to do that. I have one working DIY version in my head, but it is a little intense. But it came to me yesterday, just sitting here at my desk, randomly stalling. It came to me. And I want to share it with you guys. I think we are very much going to go that way anyways. But I do want to find somebody that will do outriggers. I do, and if or boat collars. Boat collars would be awesome. Adhesive boat collars for the side of the boat would be the best thing. Personally, that would be like the best thing we could find. I think those are genius. Simple, stick side of the boat, done. Yeah, Lonnie, eventually we'll get to the fiberglass if the world doesn't end. Sometime next year, hopefully. The world's still around, and we'll get to fiberglass boat. All right. We have, and also for Cod Fishing 180, we have boat demo videos. We actually have a playlist dedicated to demolition. Texas Reaper, how's it going? I'd have to see what a 1980 Sea Arc is. If you guys have questions about a boat, how can you do something, and it's like a simple question, not a very broad question like what should I do with the whole thing. I mean, I can't really answer that question, but if you have like specific questions like the subfloor or specific stuff on that frame, you can DM us on Facebook or Instagram, and those are the best platforms to actually reach us with a photo to where we can see. Also, we have Patreon, where we give you specific insider feedback and attention and extra videos, and we kind of help coach you through the build on Patreon That's patreon.com/tvnation. If you guys are really needing specific help but for all you like hardcore DIYers and tradesmen who just need ideas and you can put it all to fruition with your skills, then we just have mainstream videos like this. Will Smith, yeah, boat collars look pretty serious. They're just made in Australia and not here. One of the few things you can find there that you can't find in America. It's something else. Side floats? I don't know. I have a pretty serious idea in my head on how to make outriggers, which are side floats. What kind of feedback do I have for the new 20 horsepower Mercs? I have a video on YouTube. Actually, it's probably the top trending video, Mr. Gadget Fishing. If you type in YouTube, 20 horsepower Merc, my video should probably come up. I have pretty high opinion of the 20 horsepower Merc. And I also very high opinion of the 25 horsepower Yamaha F25, which is probably the best. Honestly, the best portable outboard is the Yamaha F25. My personal opinion, unbeatable. They're also really hard to find though. So, okay. Oh, Dylan Wallace, if you're trying to edit it all, you can actually hire an editor on Fiverr. And he'll edit all that footage for you. He or she, whoever you choose to hire. And it's pretty comparable price if you want to get it done that way. I have a fellow filmmaker down the hallway in another office, and he uses Fiverr to edit like bulk videos when he doesn't have time because he's too busy recording all the time. I actually thought of doing that, although I don't want to do that for reasons. But for like a one video thing, you can hire an editor. They have editors that'll do your video. So it's gonna be a few $100. It's not gonna be cheap, but I mean, really for something that's like a full documentary that you put time into, I mean, $100, $200, $300 is nothing for that. If that's like a documented testimony of something you want in a portfolio. All right. Okay, Jake Herzog, you purchased a 12-foot yak kit. Sweet. It does. It does. So contact us, and I'll call you, or we'll give you contact information. So yeah, if you do buy one of our kits, you do get one-on-one consults. And if you're on Patreon, you get one-on-one consults anytime you want. So that's also something. But we definitely help you, and even there's other ways to help you. We have VIP lounges. Anybody who buys a kit from us has access to the VIP lounge in Facebook, and we're actually going to try and get an online chat room with specific chats just for people like yourselves. We found that to be very successful with the Patreon group, the Die Hard group, where we have a Facebook chat. Not the most sophisticated thing, but they all just stay in there and collaborate with each other and collaborate with us, and their boat builds come out really sick. In fact, I've taken a lot of their ideas and used them for my own personal gain because they have pretty good ideas. They're pretty with it people. So shout out to the Die Hard group. Texas Reaper, have you ever made center consoles out of aluminum? No, I have not. I'm against center consoles in a boat that small. They look cool in theory, but I mean, the boat's got to have nothing else in them. So the center console and like a little 4-foot deck up front, that's it. That's all. Because to walk around the center console in a 16-foot boat just seems really narrow. It gets really tedious. It's not very... It's great for when you're just driving around, but if you're actually trying to use it functionally, like do stuff with it, the console is always in the way. I mean, center console really for like a nice 18-plus foot boat that's wide. We're talking about 56 inches on the bottom, something like that. And then center consoles actually do okay there. But it always just seems wide. Even a side console on a 16-footer, not a big fan. Not a big fan of consoles in tiny boats. So I haven't done a whole lot. I've only done one. And that was for a guy who was questionable. Never mind. So we'll see. We'll see. So Sky Club, 14-foot low, flat bottom project in the I don't know what that is, but in the flats and skinny water is what we do. Sweet. Thoughts on adding a polling platform on this? We make them. they're custom. We don't get a whole lot of people ask for them, but we make you one. And they also do sell them online. But if you really need one made, we can do a custom. There's also custom DIY pulling platforms. I'd like to make a DIY pulling platform. You couldn't do it out of rivets. You'd probably need stainless hardware and some brackets, but it could be done. It wouldn't be as nice and pretty as some of these, obviously, these nice welded and bent pulling platforms. But the 14-foot low you have would have to be pretty wide for you to benefit from a pulling platform. I think even a pulling platform on a 1648 is a little sketch. People like them though. People do use them. People do like them. We do want to make one of those too. We're gonna be throwing out polls where we need all the ideas, and we're gonna check out all those things. Have you ever made center consoles? Okay, hold on. I think I got your question there. So EOD. Okay, we finally got only 3 questions. I think I'm getting down to it. EOD Voodoo. I finished body work on the paint on your rebuild. Subfloor. I don't like Rain-X or any of that stuff on it just because it's rough. I just wouldn't use it for a fishing boat. If you're trying to make a functional duck boat or a swamp boat, like a backwater boat, then I guess like Line-X, like rhino lining stuff is probably very good. But for bass fishing, I don't know. You don't want to land a fish on that deck and it just gets scraped up by the Line-X. That would just be terrible for the boat. It also is not great for the feet. There's just no aesthetic benefit from it, or orthopedic benefit from it, like there is from foam. The major reason I've switched to foam over everything is the orthopedic benefits from it that I appreciate the older I get, and then the heat dissipation, which is unmatched. Like even if you got black foam that, even that stuff doesn't hold heat near as bad as like carpet or anything. I think the worst things to deck a boat with are really, really thin carpet, like bunk carpet, the marine vinyl that you see a lot of the trekkers decked with. That stuff has almost no orthopedic comfort or anything for it, and they retain heat. It's just like you might as well not even have anything on it. It gets so hot. You have to wear shoes. You have to wear shoes with really good insoles, or you're gonna hate your feet are gonna hurt by the end of the day fishing. So I would say that. On the other hand, the only real benefit to just like Line-X or rhino lining a hull is that you can just wash it down. If you're full of mud and blood and guts and slime, you can just wash all that down very, very seamlessly with no problems. But you can also kind of do that with foam. So I don't know. It's really hard to argue against EVA foam. All right. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it. What's going on, Derek? You have an old 25 horsepower Yamaha. That thing should run forever. No, I would keep the Yamaha 25. That thing probably should run forever. If you have an issue with it, just get it tuned up and that thing should go. That should go. That should go. All right. We are caught up. I can't believe it. How many people we got in the chat? 32? Yeah, if you guys haven't hit the like button, hit it up. And let's see what else we can get. But anyways, I wanted to just touch it with you guys and just tell you my experience with the 1232 John boat, where I think we absolutely won in the crossover battle. The crossover battle is, I think we won it. Really. With boat collars, we absolutely would kill it. We would definitely win it with boat collars. I have thought about an outrigger system that clamps onto the transom and then also bolts into the oar locks that we would make at a DIY level that people could replicate. And I think that'd be a little tedious. That would be pretty cumbersome at that point in time. So I have not done it, but it's not out of the picture. It's not irrefutably out of the picture. I don't know how you would. It'd have to be something you stuck on the boat after you loaded it. I don't know. there's things I've thought about. There's a lot of things we've thought about on how to do. We just have not refined a design yet to do them. But don't think that we haven't thought about somehow making any sort of mod that would make any boat more stable at just by a bolt-on or a slide-in mod, which is what we would try to go through. Simplicity, can it be replicated? And can it be, if it can't be replicated, can we make it an affordable thing for the audience? So the biggest thing that we personally hate to hear is, why are we trying to charge so much money for something? And so with the cost of everything rising, it's a little serious. All right, so let me see here. So Sky Club, what's going on, man? All right. Fishing grass flats. Oh, 14, 40 inches at the bottom? Yeah. I think a polling platform would be all right. Again, I'm not a hugely tall one, but a reasonably height one, maybe 2-3 feet. Between 2 and 3 feet. I think they're all about 2 or 3 feet, maybe 2 feet. Realistically, a 1 foot polling platform all day would work, or 1.5 foot 16-inch polling platform, 16 inches higher. But yeah, I think it would work. All right. All right, what's going on, John? A 15 horse on a 12-foot boat? I mean, that better be a serious 12-foot boat. Like, it better be like, for one, it better be a V-hull, and two, it better be pretty wide. Otherwise, I think that you're not supposed to run over a 6 horse on a 12-foot. Most 12-footers will not take over a 6 horse, but a very, very wide and robust and tall, like a 12-foot Lund, that'll take a 15 horse. Get about, check what your boat's rated for. 20 horsepower Mercury versus 20 horsepower Yamaha. The 20 horsepower Mercury, in my opinion, takes it because the new generation 4 Mercuries have a block for the 15 and 20 horse where they use the same block. And because of that, the Mercury is only 99 pounds for the most basic stock Mercury, like Gen 4, with no other additional weight add-ons like electric start or the power tilt. It's 99 pounds. So that's unbeatable for the block. And so subsequently, Yamaha took their 20 and 25 horse, their brand new F25 generation, F20 and F25 generation Yamahas. Those are on the same block, but those are 121 to 120 something pounds, but they're over 120 pounds. So they're 20 pounds heavier. So you're 20 pounds heavier for the same motor, same CC motor. And so at that point in time, I think the work works. The lighter, the better. Anything to cut off weight on your boat, on a tiny boat, is better. And the ergonomics on the Mercs, they're just nice. They're nice. I think there's some stuff going on there with the small outboards. They are both eerily similar. I did release a video on the 20 horsepower Merc versus the Yamaha F25, the Gen 4 versus the F25, and I noted why I think either somebody ripped off somebody there, or there's somebody who or there's a lot of collaboration, or there's somebody making the motors. But the way they flex back, the way they torque up, the way they sound, the way there's specific rattling sound when they're going through the range to get into watt, they're very, very, very similar. And so I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. But I think if you're going to go for the max version of the block, I would get the 20 Merc. Or if you're going to go for the max version of definitely the Yamaha 25 horsepower, the F25, that is the best portable outboard out there. There's nothing that beats it in weight. And I don't know about power. I heard Suzuki makes a pretty good portable outboard, but it's the 25 and 30 horse portable outboards are at 150 pounds. They're still pretty heavy. So I still think the Yamaha F25 takes it. I would love that motor. I have tested it, and I've never seen one since. Darn. But if you can get one, I think they're like 6 months to a year out to get one. But if you put the money down, they're nice to have. They're very nice to have, and I say that officially. Okay. Your boat is rated. You have a oh 14 low jumbo rated for a 25 horse. 1448s are rated for a 25 horse generally. Yep. Yeah, 25 horse will probably make that boat come to life for sure. Okay, so pro grade painting. How are you, man? What does it take to have a crew kick out a boat from start to finish? So we've only done it for one person, and we're about to do it for two people. And pretty much the deal we have with those people, the reason that we even did it is, for one, the first guy we did it for, that was a long-time supporting member. His name is John McGurn. And he was a really long-time supporting TBM member. He'd already built his own tiny boat and then kind of ran into problems with it. But he bought everything from our sites, which helped us out tremendously in trying to get our stores footage underneath. And then when we were down there, he like took care of us. So we all flew ourselves down there, you know, got off the pot and went down there, took all our tools and grinded it out for it. But during the whole time he bought like all the food, he like took care of us. If we needed anything, he went and got it. So he bought everything from us and then took care of us when we were down there. And that pretty much is what we require. But that also is a lot. But in the end, but at the same time, we didn't charge him any labor, and we built him a boat in 4 days. So it's pretty much the same thing for the Tennessee trip, where we're going to be building a boat for somebody there, and it's the same deal for them. They're going to kind of take care of us the same way and help us survive there. We're all going to spend the money and the effort to get down there, and then when we're there, he's going to take care of us. So we're going to build a boat and obviously collab there, do some fishing. I mean, it's called the PB Lodge, personal best lodge, meaning you're supposed to catch your personal best bass there. So I mean, we're trying to do that. So very cool. I mean, we're down for very cool situations like that, where the person is willing to do a solid like that. So where both parties benefit mutually off of what they're getting. So John was extremely happy with what he got from us, and we are hoping to obviously make this next person very happy. We're also trying to do other things, possibly establish a Tiny Boat Nation tournament, an official one down there in Tennessee, the first one of its kind, where they want to actually launch tiny boat tourneys. So the boat we build down there will be and have more of a purpose than just we're building it for somebody. So we're looking for collaborative efforts. It's kind of what we're trying to do here. Is the power tilt worth it? Yes. Power tilt is worth anything. A power tilt is worth its weight in gold. In fact, if you had to choose between electric start and a power tilt, can the electric start. Don't get the electric start and get a power tilt. Or get an aftermarket CMC power tilt. Bob's makes a tilt and jack combo. That is the best thing. The Bob's power tilt and jack combo, meaning jack and tilt at will, best thing. It's rated for boats up to 50 horse. That's the best thing on the market. Best thing on the market. Turn any old outboard performance into something you probably wouldn't even expect coming out of your boat, out of your motor. We can get substantially better performance out of any motor with that. It also weighs more, kicks your motor back, kicks your tiller back. So, I mean, you got to think about those things. But other than that, I think the Bob's tilt and jack combo is money. And I hope to get one, but obviously with everything happening in the super high demand of everything, it's kind of like, I don't know. Let me see. SoFlo Prepper. Does anybody build tiny boats for paddle only? The paddle only dominion belongs to kayaks and SUPs or stand-up paddle boards. SoFlo. It just is that way. That is the one thing that we will never be able to beat yaks or SUPs in, is the sheer glidability and aeronautical design of a kayak. Absolutely. Trying to push like that my 12-footer through the water was like a slug. I think I got a whopping 1.5 miles an hour at the best. Where you can get like 5, 6. You can get just as fast as like a trolling motor. I mean, a lot of kayaks with a paddle can just blow out a boat with a trolling motor, like unequivocally blow it away. So I would not. I mean, there's just no way to beat a kayak at that point. At that time, if it really was a true non-motorized area where there was just no motor at all, you can't even have a motor on your deck, just laying there. And there's places like that I would really, really strongly consider going to a kayak. As much as I don't want to have a kayak ever, I probably would break down and get it. All right. All right, reading through here. Reading here. What we got here? Got any more stuff going on? A hand control jack plate. I saw that thing, Kevin. What is that called? You know the brand? I saw it. It looked like the sickest thing ever. Like, I would love to have that thing. We got to look at it. We got to look at it. Yes, we would love to have China boat fishing chapters. Right now, we kind of work. We kind of work with a chapter called Slay Nation. They're an online tournament for tiny boats and kayaks, the only one of their kind. And so that has been a thing where we have worked with them. They've kind of been the unofficial tiny boat tournaments. We've never actually had one branded by ourselves, though, so we don't really know how that's going to go. But we are trying to. The more and more interest people have in them, the more and more we're going to try to push those. Texas has actually pushed quite a few by themselves, but there's been like a battle for Texas. There has been a lot of. They're really hard to. They're really hard to get anybody on Texas to kind of work with us, where they're very much you're not going to tell us what to do because we're Texans kind of attitude. They've let us know that, kind of try to put us in our place, and we try to put them in their place. So it's never worked out great, no matter how hard we've tried to kind of establish something, but they kind of went rogue. Every time we tried to run it with somebody there, we came to a disagreement, and they went rogue. They were like, F you. They just gave me the finger. Like, what can you do about that? You can't do nothing about it. You just got to take the hit. So we just took it. Oh, Prograde, you're local to Tucson? Sweet. Well, let us know, man, if you can do that, and we'll talk about it. It'd be cool to do something local in Arizona. There is no lakes around Tucson, though. That's why I didn't move there. I had the choice to go to Tucson. I chose to not, because the one lake you have there is not a great one. You got like Patagonia Parker. Those are 1-2 hours away, depending where you live. So, and then you got all the ones up in Phoenix, North California Delta. There are tiny boat tourneys, and there's already tiny boat tourneys. They're called Slay Nation XL tourneys. TV Nation. They're ran by Jacob Bueno. You should hit up the Tiny Boat Nation Facebook, California Tiny Boat Nation Facebook, and the California Tiny Boat Nation Instagram, and they have tiny boat tournaments out of California. California hasn't established. We don't have any problems with people in California, though. We don't have problems with California individuals work with them like we've had problems working with Texas, where we had like pretty serious problems. On the fly jack plates, $4.99. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate. I'm gonna write that down in a sticky note. On the fly jack plates. Because I would love to have one. For several reasons. I would love to put one on here. Arivaca is the best you have? Oh man, Arivaca is tiny lake. Now, Illinois, we're working with somebody in Illinois to do that, but Illinois is pretty hard. Illinois has tournaments, serious tiny boat tournaments already. They're just not called that. Illinois has tiny boat tournaments all day. 16, 48, 25 horsepower cap tournaments all day. Same thing in Kansas. I think even in Arkansas, but definitely Kansas. Kansas has 16, 48. I'm sorry, 14-foot, 15 horsepower cap tiny boat tournaments all day. They're just not called tiny boat tournaments, but they're unofficially tiny boat tournaments all over the country. We haven't not ever labeled them that specifically. Ever try getting anything going on in Arkansas? I mean, the minute we have a strong leader in any state, we try to work with that person. And hopefully they're willing to collaborate with us and not be like, well, we're going to run our things, but we're still going to use your name and you get what you get. And that's that. Pretty much what they tell us. And so obviously at that point in time, we're like, well, if you're just going to do your own thing, you don't really want to do anything with us other than our name, then why don't you just build your own self up and make your own name? That way you don't have to deal with us. And then they're like, no, we still want to keep your name. You know, like, well, no. And so that, I mean, there's where we kind of ran into the problem really with collaborating. But for everybody who's actually wanted to work with us and wanted to be part of the actual team, we have helped them and supported them unequivocally. And so the California Tiny Boat Nation chapter, where they run the Slay Nation XL tournaments, there was a huge tiny boat gathering there. They have a lot of boats. There's like 50 boats, 50 to 70 boats showing up, like a lot. They have the most successful tournament in Cali, and that's saying something considering Texas has a substantial tiny boat following there. And we just need one person who just like wants to be like one of us. Just one. Just takes just one guy from any state or gal. Really, we're not. We'll just take anybody to get it going. We'll see. I have never really officially called for it on a public video the way I'm talking about it live. I don't know how many people are going to see it right now, but that's a thing. It's a thing. Very cool, Adrian. Good luck with you. Where are you going to fish that 12 V-hole in Arizona at? Where you live at? You live in Maricopa, in Pima County, Cochise. Where you at? Where you at? Is there a Nevada chapter? No, Jake, there is not. And I don't know. I think it's because Lake Mead is not a tiny boat friendly lake. It's so big. But that doesn't mean there can't be one. If you can get one and run it successfully, we'll back you. If you guys want to run, state chapters and tournaments, just, talk to us. We'll help connect you for sure. But it takes a special brain and a special desire to want to put up with all that crap. That is real. That is real. Lake Pleasant, huh? Lake Pleasant's huge. That's a big lake. That's a very big lake. Good luck out there. Right? Be safe. Never been to North Lake. Never even knew there was a North Lake in Arizona. Interesting. All right. How's Fireant? He's fine, man. He just doesn't like YouTube. He's given up on YouTube. But he's really big on TikTok. He is getting bigger and bigger on TikTok. So he's trying to put a lot more effort there. It's actually much easier to grow on TikTok. Like a lot more. And you get a lot more views on TikTok if you can push the right video. And the video only has to be a minute long. So kind of hard. TikTok really put up a seriously big front against YouTube where it turns anybody into like a pro filmmaker. You don't have to have skills really to be on TikTok. You just have to know how to engage people in a minute or less, and you can really just blow YouTubers out of the water with views. And so that is a thing. That is a thing that a lot of people are struggling with, but I refuse to give up YouTube. I refuse. YouTube is ground zero because you can make it on Instagram or Facebook, and you can't make it on YouTube. But if you're on YouTube, you can make it on all the other platforms. If you can make it successfully here, you can more or less make it on any other platforms if you put any effort into it. So we subsequently have pretty big followings on all the other platforms. I have like 7,000 followers on TikTok, and I've only posted like 50 short 1-minute videos, which equals about 10 actual videos here on YouTube. If that just gives you any grasp of how fast and how easy it is to grow on TikTok. But the only thing about TikTok is it's a floating cesspool of shit, and I say that officially. I don't really care whose feelings that hurts. It just sucks you in and emotionally terrorizes you if you don't watch it. So I try to be a good influence there. Try not to post out any controversial stuff. But really, I mean, the feed just sucks you in. You gotta stop yourself. You gotta stop watching the TikTok crap. Like, other than that, this is the worst social media platform on the planet. TikTok is. I think it's not great. I think it's not great. Specifically, what's going on, DBL72? Warner Robins, Georgia. What's going on, man? Going on. All right. So I don't know, man. I ran out of questions. We're out of questions, but overall, I mean, anybody got any other questions? Because my phone's eventually going to die. We were running. I'm surprised this even ran for an hour. We generally run the streams an hour and a half. Yeah, so we're just checking in. You know, just checking in, seeing what you guys are up to. I stopped doing lives for a long time, and I felt bad that I didn't do more lives. He is. Man, you gotta download the TikTok and Instagram app to watch Fireant. He's only doing like short 1-minute clips here. Here's just the whole thing about my crew, and you guys should help them see the lights. Okay? My crew has chosen, despite my best advice, as somebody who's built 20 boats by himself. Like, I told him not to start building boats for people by themselves. I told that to Anthony. I told that to Ryan. Like, and I told that to Adam. Also, the 3. So there's the 4 of us really that are tubers. Adam, Anthony, and Ryan. And Anthony and Ryan chose to start building boats for people. And I was like, that's really going to cut down on your content creation time. I mean, if you start building boats for people by yourself, for one, it's just really hard to build one by yourself for yourself, let alone for somebody else who's like, well, you know, when's it going to be done? And then they're going to dictate what you can put in your boat to stifle your creative ability. I mean, because it's their boat. No offense to them. Like, I mean, clearly they're coming at to us because they admire what we're doing. But I'm saying that's going to crunch down on your creative ability. So Ryan, I think, has come to the notion that building boats like full time and being able to put out full time YouTube is going to be is really stressful and hard, and it'll deflate you and burn you out real quick. But building boats full time but launching little short 15, 30, and 60-second Instagram reels or videos on TikTok is much more doable. In fact, I think if anybody has any sort of business or your side hustle or a side hobby, you should definitely be posting your stuff on there because it's very easy to grow. They give you like free music, free tools, free little animation things. And so, I mean, it's way easier to do it on there versus YouTube, where you actually have to have an editing software. You got to have, got to have 8+ hours of actual content to make 10 minutes of usable video, etc. That it grows substantially more. YouTube is ground zero. So if you're a G, you can make it on YouTube. You can make it on YouTube. You can make it on any other platform, like I'm saying, but you got to have the time. You have to want it. So because of you guys, I get to just be a tuber. My main thing is content. Sure, I build boats. But hell, the reason I'm able to put all this content out is because you guys allow me to not have to build boats for other people. So I can just build boats for you. That means you want to see the boats built, so I get to record content. It's a deal. It's the best deal on the planet, really. It absolutely is. They don't have that deal yet. So, I mean, they got to do what they got to do. They got to do what they got to do. Hopefully they get big enough. Hopefully we get big enough. Hopefully something else happens to where I can just pull them out of that hole and they can just start making content. Because, man, they have talent for sure. Anthony specifically has talent. Really serious video editing talent. He does it all on his phone still. Makes fantastic videos. I used to do that on my phone. I quit that a long time ago. Can't do it anymore. It's too much stuff we're throwing in videos. But he still does it. Still manages to crank out videos. And I think if anybody deserves to be coming up full time next is definitely Anthony and Ryan. Hopefully we can get them both up full time. And the other guys in our crew, they're just still too busy building boats. I'm like, you guys start cranking out content, and they're like, well, I don't have no time, and they probably don't have any time. So really, just 4 of it. There's 5 of us. I'm sorry, Chris does it too. So I just have collaborated less with Chris, so I forget he's definitely made it. He's actually got 2 very successful YouTube channels. You guys should be checking out Senate John Boats, where he does very cool stuff. He does a lot of the backwater mud boats, river boat stuff that we have not done. So he's like and then we're trying to get Kayak DIY on the crew, but we haven't really got to where we collab with him. 10K, man. I remember when I was 10K, Kevin. Dude, that was a long time ago. For sure. But I mean, I really would like to work with Justin Lambert's Kayak DIY, and he might be our in into Florida. We were talking about we need an in. He's like our best. He's just with everything going on, we have not had time, and he's super busy. He's running his own show. He's been full-time YouTubing, and he actually made it huge on TikTok. He showed it. He posted one video, got like 6 million views, blew up to 100,000 followers overnight. TikTok's kind of stealing people away a little bit. but I don't know how it's been since he's done that. So we need to talk to him. Probably I need to pick his brain and see how he's been going on. Dream build. My dream build. I got a dream build in the back of my yard. I got a few ideas, but really these high-end bass boats that we're building out of these tiny boats are really starting to burn me out. I got like 2 left in me that I really want to have like serious ideas, but then I really want to start focusing on. There's people accusing me that I've kind of lost my roots to where I have gone farther and farther away up the rabbit hole of technicality and making stuff really too complex and expensive for the average Joe to do. And so I would be lying if I told you that it didn't really bother me, because it does. So I wanted to do simpler, more affordable builds, and I want to do those. And I want to do other things. People are like, also tell me I built way too many bass boats, because that's really all I have built. So people have asked for skein fish, people have asked for catfish boats, people have asked for crappie boats, people have asked for mud boats, people have asked for flats boats. So we will be trying to do a few of those. I currently own 6 boats right now. 4 of them are completely unoperational, so that we got 4 chances to really build at least one of those. Get rid of all the scrap parts in my yard and garage, give 4 boats away. I'm not going to keep them. So they're all going to go to people. They're going to go to the Facebook group, because the Facebook group did reach over 100K. One goes to YouTube. They reached over 100K. We will probably never reach 100K on Instagram. I just don't care enough about the platform to put enough effort to get to 100K followers there. But if we reach TikTok, we can blow it up big on TikTok. I'll give one to TikTok, but we'll see. TikTok is really like, I don't know. We'll see. And then we'd like to give away more stuff, though, a little bit more, a few more kits and a few more giveaways online. We'll see. We definitely are trying to give away one for each platform. We were only big on half the platforms, and so we'll see. All right, guys. Okay, one more question. Guerrero. I don't want to mess your name up, so I'm just going to leave Guerrero. I have just been given an 80s 16-foot Miracraft with a 70s Mercury 20 horse. I wonder how that thing runs, man. The older Mercs, they say, were the best ones before before the 4-stroke thing came along and kind of messed up the platform. So a lot of people argue otherwise. Well, heck yeah, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you much for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and check out. I thank you for all the likes. And I see you guys in Lake Chickamauga in Tennessee on October 8th. Be there. Be there for food and giveaways and drinks and boats and just to hang out and party. You should be there. You should come. If you were on the East Coast and you were only a few hours away, you should drive there. On October 8th, that Friday. Be there, guys. See you later.